I let my fiancé find out from others that I changed my mind. 3 weeks before our wedding, I stopped planning, stopped caring, stopped pretending everything was fine. My fiancé Daniel didn't notice. He was too busy texting someone named Lena. I found the messages by accident. His phone buzzed while he was in the shower, and the preview showed enough. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Wear that dress I like. I didn't confront him. I just started watching. For 2 weeks, I documented everything. Screenshots, timestamps, the nights he said he was working late, but his location showed a hotel across town. The restaurant charges on our joint card for dinners I never attended. My maid of honor, Marisol, asked why I seemed distant. I showed her everything. She cried harder than I did. I should have confronted Daniel directly. I should have thrown the ring at his face and walked out with dignity. But something in me wanted him to feel exactly what I felt. That gut punch of finding out from someone else. That humiliation of being the last to know. So I made a plan. The Saturday before our wedding, Daniel's entire family was flying in for the rehearsal dinner. His parents, his brothers, his grandmother who'd given us her blessing. 63 people total, all gathered at the venue we'd booked a year ago. I sent one group text at 6:15 that evening. To everyone except Daniel, the wedding is canceled. I've attached proof of why. I'm sorry you traveled for nothing. Please don't contact me asking to reconsider. The attachment was a PDF. 12 pages of screenshots. Every message between Daniel and Lena. Every hotel receipt. Every lie documented with dates and times. Then I turned off my phone and drove to my sister's house 3 hours away. Daniel called me 47 times that night. I know because I checked the next morning. The voicemails started confused, then angry, then desperate. What are you talking about? Call me back. Then 20 minutes later, who sent this to my family? This is insane. Then an hour after that, his voice cracking. Please, just let me explain. It's not what it looks like, but it was exactly what it looked like. His own family confirmed it. His brother texted me around 9 that night. I'm so sorry. He admitted everything to our parents. Lena has been around for 6 months. We had no idea. 6 months. We'd been engaged for 8. The fallout was spectacular. His grandmother, the one who'd given us her blessing, apparently stood up at the rehearsal dinner and announced that her grandson was a disgrace to the family name. His mother left the venue in tears. His father didn't speak to him for 2 weeks. Daniel showed up at my sister's house the next day. She wouldn't let him pass the driveway. I watched from the upstairs window as he begged her to let him see me. He kept saying he could explain, that Lena meant nothing, that he'd made a mistake. My sister's response was perfect. She said a mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. 6 months is a choice. He stood there for almost an hour before finally leaving. The hardest part wasn't losing him. It was realizing I'd been planning a future with someone who never existed. The Daniel I fell in love with wouldn't have done this, which meant I'd fallen in love with a performance. 3 months later, I ran into his cousin at a coffee shop. She told me Daniel and Lena broke up 2 weeks after the wedding was canceled. Apparently, Lena didn't want him anymore once he was actually available. She also told me something else, something that made me glad I'd handled it the way I did. Daniel had been planning to continue the affair after we got married. Lena found messages on his phone where he'd promised her nothing would change. That I was just the safe choice, the one who'd give him the life he wanted, while she gave him the excitement. I was going to be his safety net while he kept her on the side. His cousin looked at me with something like admiration. You know what the worst part is for him? Everyone in the family got that PDF. His grandmother printed it out and mailed copies to relatives who weren't at the dinner. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered sitting alone in our apartment, planning a wedding to a man who was texting another woman from our bed. I remembered buying a dress I'd never wear, writing vows he'd never mean. He deserved to find out the way I did. Blindsided, humiliated, the last one to know that everything had changed. Last week, I got a letter from him, handwritten. 4 pages of apologies and explanations and promises he'd never get to keep. I didn't read past the first paragraph. I just wrote return to sender and dropped it back in the mailbox.